2021 New West Side Partner Landlord Compact. Sorry for the slight delay, but we do have a couple guest speakers today to talk to us about the rent moratorium and about vaccinations. So with that being said, can I get the agenda? We can start the slideshow. Thank you. So first we have Brittany Robertson. Brittany is representing Frederick Health. She's going to talk a little bit to us about vaccinations and what Frederick is doing to assist with getting the vaccinations into the community. Brittany?
Thanks, Bobby. All right, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Awesome. All right, so good afternoon, everybody. As Bobby stated, I am Brittany Robertson with Frederick Hospital. I'm community engagement coordinator here. So one of the big things that we are working really hard on right now, as most of you probably already know, is vaccinations. So the state in general, of course, is going through 3 different phases of administering the vaccine to our communities. So right now we are in that 1B, 1C area. So under that, our 65 and plus are covered, our law enforcement, our frontline workers, living facilities, and other essential workers. So the reason why I am here today is because, again, we have that target population that we are trying to reach, which is our 65 plus group. And we thought that it would be helpful to speak to landlords in hopes that you can share this information with your tenants. So just to give everybody a little bit of background about the shots, currently with Freighter and in the city of Milwaukee, we have 2 different shots available. They are the Pfizer and Moderna. They are both 2 shots apiece. You take them 3 weeks apart. So the first shot is like a primer for your body. It isn't the actual vaccination, so you will not have immunity after the first shot. However, the second shot is your actual vaccine, and it takes about 2 weeks for it to fully work through your system to give you immunity. So know that if you got your shot, or if you are planning to get your shot, know that after that second shot, you got 2 weeks before you get full immunity from the vaccination. One of the other shots that will be coming really, really soon, and I think a couple of places in our state may already have it. Freighter in particular doesn't have it yet, but we know that it is on its way, and that is the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. And for those who don't know, the Johnson & Johnson vaccine is only 1 shot. And so you know, typically you kind of just go with whatever they have available when you go to your doctor's office. But currently, Freighter, I know that the city of Milwaukee is offering it. We are trying to reach out to those who are 65 plus. So people who are 65 plus and who are interested in getting their vaccine, just know that, like, it is okay if you are not a patient with Freighter. That isn't something that is mandatory. You do not have to have insurance. And it is okay if they are undocumented. At this point, we want everybody to get vaccinated if that is what you decide that you want to do. So there, Bobby has the flyer up that has the contact information, so you can reach out to Freighter. We do have people in our call center who will take your call and get you scheduled out for where you can actually go to have the shot done. Currently, what we are trying to offer, because we want to make sure we are staying as close to the near west side as possible for people, is our McKinley Health Center. Is where we are trying to get people to go. That is our center that is right across the street from the new Bucks Arena. Typically, the turnaround for getting scheduled is pretty quick. And getting you in is pretty quick also. So I would say anywhere between one or 2 business days is what I say. Give people to get you scheduled and get you in. It goes really quick. Again, there's 2 shots currently right now. You take them 3 weeks apart. This will come at no cost to you, whether you have insurance or you do not have insurance. I will let you know that if you have insurance, they will ask you for it. And it is not because you're going to be charged, but currently the way that it is working with all insurance companies is, again, they just want everybody to get vaccinated. So if you don't, so if you have insurance, but you can't get into your primary right away and you are looking to go in, like, they will charge your insurance and administrative costs, which comes at no additional cost to you. All insurance companies are aware of it, but I do want to make sure that everybody knows and has all the information they need around that. All right, I think there are some questions because that was like the bulk of my information. I don't want to take up too much time trying to go into each of the vaccines, Bobby. So
Okay. Just one. I have one question.
mhm.
Do they take calls Monday through Friday, or is it a time slot from 8 to 5?
Yeah, no. So yep, we are good to go. Most of I would say your best bet is to get in by 6 o'clock if you're gonna do it. Monday through Friday is always really great, but we also have people on the line on the weekends. Also, just so that people are aware, we do have translation services. So you can if you need translation services for specific languages, just let us know when you call and they can get one of our translators on the line.
Okay. One of the questions that I see is how can landlords get this information out to tenants? And I can answer that question. Brittany and Frederick has been so kind to provide us with flyers, and our ambassadors will be flyering the community to get this information into the hands of the public. So at the multi-unit apartment buildings, we'll be stopping at office buildings, or we could send it, or we will send it out electronically after the meeting to everyone that registered. So if there's no more questions for Brittany, I thank you again for your time and giving us this information. And I hope to have you back for an update as we start to move closer to full immunization.
Yeah, no, just let me know. So it was great seeing you on, Bobby, and all of our Near West Side team. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to come back in. Um, so y'all have a great day. I got to get back to work.
All right. Thank you, Brittany.
All right. Bye-bye, everybody.
All right, Bobby, we have Brittany from Legal Action of Wisconsin.
Yes, we do.
Brittany, are you there?
Hello, I am here.
Hi,
Good
how are you doing today?
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for having me today. My name is Brittany Shanick. I'm a staff attorney at Legal Action of Wisconsin. I'm in our community law project, which is a project that was created to help assist and address the legal needs identified by the community itself. Obviously, during the course of the pandemic, tenants issues and specifically eviction issues have been a huge need identified by the community. So I'm here today to just provide some resources that you may or may not know that are available for tenants and also some that are available for landlords. I know that there's probably a lot of questions about the current status of the CDC moratorium. That moratorium is scheduled to end at the end of this month, March 31st. It has been extended in the past. Most recently, it was set to expire the end of January 31st, and it was extended on January 29th. So we're not sure whether or not it'll get extended again, but right now it is set to expire at the end of March. I know Bobby had a question, and I'm sure a lot of you do, about the recent Texas district court decision that recently came out and whether or not that affects the CDC moratorium moving forward in Milwaukee. All I can say on that is that the Department of Justice has issued a statement that that case is narrowly tailored to the parties involved in that specific case, and it doesn't affect the validity of the CDC moratorium to any other courts or any other tenants in the future, at least through March 31st. So that's sort of the status on the CDC moratorium as it stands. I did want to review a little bit some of the tenant resources that I put together for you guys. And Lindsay and Keith actually asked me to put together some tenant resources. And so I thought this would be a great opportunity to share those with you guys. The first resource that I wanted to share, and I'm not sure if folks are aware of this, is this website called Rent Help MKE. Have folks seen this before? Is this something new?
Something new.
Awesome. Okay. So Elizabeth, would you mind going to the website and just sharing your screen? So this is a site that provides information for both tenants and landlords, specifically with the most common questions that they may have. And it was developed in a joint collaboration with a lot of stakeholders in Milwaukee, specifically Legal Action, Legal Aid Society, Milwaukee County, the City of Milwaukee, Impact 211, Community Advocates, and Mediate Wisconsin. So as you can see, thanks Elizabeth. So as you can see, if you scroll down on the website, there is some information for tenants, where tenants can fill out what situation would best apply to them, or, you know, they're being evicted, they need help paying rent. And if they click on any one of those issues, you can go ahead, if you wouldn't mind clicking on one, Elizabeth, just I wanted to show folks how it works. And then click on the next. Yeah, any one of those is fine. Yep. It should, if you scroll down, it should show what resources are available. Maybe scroll down a little further. There we go. Okay, so it can show tenants that there are resources available that they can contact to get legal help. Similarly, the landlords, my tenant is behind in rent. You know, if they qualify for rent assistance, it'll show them the resources for which they can apply. All right. Does anyone have any questions about this resource? And I probably won't be able to answer it, but I thought this might be a good opportunity to show everyone that this resource is out there.
Brittany, thank you so much for joining our meeting today. This is Lindsay from Near West Side Partners. We did add all of the resources that Brittany sent over and that were included on the slide that Elizabeth showed earlier to the Near West Side Partners website. It's nearwestsidemke.org/housing resources. There are resources there for tenants and for landlords. So please do use that webpage as kind of a stopping point. We also recently did a webinar on our Facebook page with Mediate Milwaukee, which can be revisited. It has a lot of really great information.
Great.
Wonderful.
Thank you very much. Anybody else have any further questions before we let Brittany go? Okay. Thank you again. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Have a great day.
All right. Sorry about my delay in getting in, everybody. Hope you're having a good day. We'll get right to the nuisance properties. Now, I do not have that list that is on the screen in front of me. So as we go, there might be a little lag when I read out an address because I am waiting for my screen to pop up to give me it. So,
Kent,
yes.
I'd just like to add, since we're starting with Barada, that we do have a representative from Barada here with us today for the first time, Latanya Brooks. She's new to managing Barada's property in this area. I just wanted to let you guys know that she is on the line. I had a brief meeting with her today, and she was so gracious to join us. So this is her first time at our landlord compact. but we do have a Barada representative today.
All right, Bobby, thanks for letting me know that. We'll go easy on Latoya.
Please do, please do.
Welcome. Thanks for joining us today. All
Sure.
right. 3017 West Highland Boulevard, calls for service.
Afternoon. So we have one, which is a battery. It's a nuisanceable offense. It's the only one we have for 3017 West Highland.
All right. And again, I'm sorry, I don't know who's all here. John, are you here or someone for DNS?
No, John won't be joining. I don't think John will be joining us today, but he did send out a report. So,
I have that.
okay.
I just didn't know if he was here. I didn't see that he was not going to be joining us in his email.
I'm here if I can help.
Thank you, Mark.
Sure.
So DNS, one call, and that was a dog bite. Next property. (2820) West Wells Street, calls for service.
So for 2820 West Wells, we had one trouble subject, one fight, one threat, and one theft for a total of 4 nuisanceable calls.
And one trouble, one fight, one theft, and I'm sorry, what else?
One threat.
Threats. Thank you.
Yep.
And DNS has 0. All right, next property. 2836 West Wells Street, calls for service.
I have 0 nuisanceable calls for service for 2836 West Wells.
And for some reason, oh, sorry. Again, mine are all order here, so DNS, nothing. Next property. 761 North 20. Well, let me back up here. Is that the last Barada property on the list? No, I'm sorry, 761 North 29th Street, calls for service.
We have 0 nuisanceable calls for service.
And DNS has no calls. Next property. Okay, so I know this is not a Barada property, correct? Or is it?
I've been informed that it is.
Okay. 2933, 2937 West Wells Street, calls for service.
I have 0 nuisanceable calls at both of the addresses.
All right.
I have a quick question for a CLO officer.
Yep.
When it's a range of addresses like that, is that just 2 locations, or is it any of the addresses in between the 33 and the 37?
So I did just the 2, like the 2933 and then the 2937. Are you asking if it's basically like all of those addresses in the middle
Yeah.
of there?
Yeah, I'm asking, is it 2935 or something that's in between that we're missing?
I
No.
just did the 2933 and the 2937. But I can always do, like, if that's what you're looking for, like the next time, I can always add in like 2935 as well.
Okay, I'm sorry, I wasn't aware, so I was just asking the question.
Okay, yeah, no, I mean, if you guys, I don't know if there is a 2935, but I thought maybe it was just like a side-by-side, kind of like how a duplex would be. So I didn't know if that's how the apartment was as well.
Yeah, I'm not sure if there's a 2935, Bobby. I don't believe it's registered that way.
Okay.
But we can definitely get on site and verify that for the next meeting.
Okay, thanks.
And DNS has no calls for that property. Next property.
I think that was the last Barada's property.
Steinborn call. Hello?
Yes, Mr. Steinborn, we haven't gotten to your property yet.
Okay.
Okay, so just stay on mute for a second. We'll get to you shortly.
All right.
Thank you. So I think that was the end of the Barada properties, if I'm not mistaken, Canton.
That is correct. Thank you. With that, does anybody have any questions in regards to any of those locations? And it's Latanya, is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
All right, thank you. Do you have any questions for us or for anyone else?
No, not really. Just trying to get the information again. As I stated, I just started working for Barada, so just trying to get familiar with the area and trying to figure out some of the needs.
Okay.
So what we're seeing here is in some properties a very good trend in getting down to 0 calls, but we still have a building which is the 2820 location, which is having some consistent history of nuisance calls and basically the same type of calls. We've got theft, battery, trouble with subject, threat. Looks like we've got, trouble, fight, theft, and threat again. Just wondering if you were made aware of any of this in the past history of this property, and if there are any steps that Barada is taking in regards to these calls.
Well, I do believe right now I'm trying to implement a program where I can have more access to being able to try to meet with the tenants and try to figure out some of their maybe needs and try to address some of the previous issues that have been already made aware. I was aware that, there were some incidents there.
Okay, great. Bobby, did you have anything else?
Yeah, I'm going to be reaching out to Latanya. We're going to have a meeting so that I could give her an overview of what Near West Side Partners do in the community, in the neighborhood, and about our landlord compact meeting. She has agreed that we will meet later and I could bring up some of the issues that we've been having and to get more in depth as to what she plans to do. And the one question that I do have for you right now is that, are you the point person for all of Barada properties on Wells Street?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And I appreciate you coming to the meeting on short notice, Ms. Brooks.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
Okay, I'll reach out to you after the meeting. Feel free to stay on.
I think I will.
Okay.
All right. So 730 North 29th Street, calls for service.
So we had a trouble with subject and then a shot spotter. So a total of 2 nuisanceable calls there.
And we have interior orders for DNS. Next property. 2848 West Wisconsin, calls for service.
We had 1, which was a noise nuisance there.
DNS has interior orders, and some of these have been referred to court, also fire inspection. Okay. Next property. (2809) West Highland, calls for service.
Kent, one question. Those were the previous 2 were Concordia Palm Tree. Is there anyone on the call representing Concordia Palm Tree? Okay, Kent.
Thank you. 2809 West Highland Boulevard, calls for service.
We had 1 trouble with subject and 1 theft for a total of 2 nuisanceable calls.
And we've got interior orders at this location. Next property. 3120 and 3128 West Wisconsin. Calls for service.
I have 0 nuisanceable calls at both locations or both addresses.
Okay, we have 0 calls, and DNS has elevator and insufficient and defective heating. Next property. So with that said, those 2 properties, I believe, were smart assets. Okay, it looks like we've got, okay.
Yes.
Anybody here for smart assets today?
Let me see, because I can't.
All right, no smart assets. All right, 3345 West Highland Boulevard. Calls for service.
Okay, we have 1 troubled subject, 1 threat, 1 robbery, and 1 subject with gun, for a total of 4 nuisanceable calls.
And DNS has interior orders. All right, looks like we had 5 calls last month at this location. Anything with CPU or the captain, any meetings, anything set up, knowing that we've got a couple months in a row without going back here to January with these multiple nuisance calls?
So we've been in touch with Kayla Pierce pretty much consistently.
Okay.
We do plan on doing a walkthrough of some of the properties here within, I think this month we've scheduled it. So we're staying in touch with them and working on getting the calls for service down at all of their properties right now.
So your contact for smart assets is a Caleb Pierce?
No, this is for Jamila properties,
Oh,
right? Because the 30, if I'm not mistaken, 3345 West Highland is Jamila.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Yeah, no, yep. We've been in contact with Kayla Pierce.
I'm sorry. Again, since I don't have the proper sheet in front of me, I have to look at too many sheets to see what properties are whose. So,
and Ken, just for your information, I got well, I think she sent it out to everyone. Kayla is here.
yeah, I would have asked if anybody was here for Jamila, if I would have had that down here. So I apologize for that. So, all right. And all right, we must have another property for a couple of maybe. Next property. (835) North 23rd Street. Calls for service.
We have a noise nuisance and a troubled subject for a total of 2 nuisanceable calls at this location.
All right, and it looks like DNS has interior orders. Okay. And next property.
For 2803 West Gilbourne, we have a total of 1 nuisanceable call, which is a fight.
All right. DNS has no calls, no orders. All right, next property.
For 3104 West Wells, we have 2 troubled subjects for a total of 2 nuisanceable calls.
And here we have interior orders, fire inspection orders, condemnation, and building fire for DNS. Okay. And next property. 808 North 24th Street.
We have 0 nuisanceable calls.
And we have interior orders from DNS. Next property. All right. So with that last property for Jamila, Kayla, you're here?
Yeah, she was here.
I'm unmuted now. I was leaving myself muted till the end. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Everything looks great. I just wanted to follow up with you in regards to the 3345 West Highland property.
Yeah.
It seemed, again, we've got another bad month with basically the same calls. Are we dealing with possibly the same tenants problems, or are we looking at new problems from other tenants?
Well, I don't have any information on specific.
Okay.
We sent a request for CAD, but I don't see those coming through. So I've been in contact with P.O. Hudson. There hasn't been anything specific that's popped up with any specific unit, except for unit, I think it's 107 or 108, that we just had a call with a case manager from a program. So that's included with our walkthrough. I don't know if you saw my text, but we have the walkthrough set up on the 23rd. So we'll be hitting every unit that we think could potentially be an issue. I did actually have 2 units that had deceased tenants in them a week ago, 2 weeks ago, I think it was, give or take. So those were 2 units that were actually problem units. So those are now vacant, and I think we only have like a couple left to work on getting rid of. There's one specifically, and again, I'm sorry, I don't have the note in front of me, but I believe it's 107 or 108 that we're working on filing a restraining order on the person that is causing the issue to the tenant. So myself, P.O. Hudson, and the case manager were on a call on, I think that was on Monday, and
Okay.
we have a plan of attack there.
Okay.
Quick question, Kayla.
Mm-hmm.
The 2 deceased people that was in the unit, was that COVID related or natural causes, or was there something else?
I don't have any information. The only, I actually had an employee that found one in the unit, and that was really undetermined. There wasn't any like glaringly obvious reason. And the other one, I have no information on, just besides that I had the same employee, same day, walking through the building, and there was a case manager for that one as well that was standing outside and just said that the person had passed away and they don't have any further information.
Okay, and that was in the same building, correct, or different buildings?
The same building, units 108 and 201.
Okay, and that was in 808 or a different building?
No, that's at 3345. That's the one we were talking about.
Okay, 3345. Okay, thank you, Kayla, for providing that update for us.
Yeah, of course, no problem.
Kayla, I just wanted to refresh. I thought at one point, a few meetings back or so, there was a discussion in regards to tenants who are on the multiple programs that are out there. Are you guys still phasing out? Because you talked about some caseworkers there, and that just sparked my memory of asking, are you spacing out some of these programs because of?
Sure. So basically for all of these locations that are listed and everything in the near west side, basically, we're not accepting any programs going forward. There are existing clients that are in leases, and this doesn't include rents. This is just programs that case manage the units, because we have so many issues and the case management is more or less not sufficient enough on our end. We've decided to cut those ties. So we do not accept any more, but we have to phase these ones out, as a lot of them are on year leases still. So as they come up, we indicate that we're not renewing. And then the only other thing that we can do is, as issues come up, try to push for vacancy there. But that, again, is a process in and of itself.
Sure. Okay. Just wanted to make sure that that was still in place for you guys, because it was brought up, and I told I would ask. Thank you very much.
Yeah, definitely. I would say it's probably, I think that was last year maybe that we had talked about it, and then maybe confirmed in January, if I'm not mistaken. But we have, I mean, we've cut out a decent amount so far. They were pretty heavily scattered throughout the near West Side area. And I would say since December, we've probably cut out 10 to 15 units, which is pretty substantial.
Yeah, sounds good. All right,
Yeah.
thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, of course. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
You too, Kayla.
Thanks. Bye.
All right, next property. S2 Real Estate. Is anybody here for S2 Real Estate? All right, 2319 West Michigan, calls for service.
We had 0 nuisanceable calls for service at that location.
We have 1 interior complaint for DNS. All right, next property.
For 2327, we had 1 nuisanceable call, which was a threat.
And DNS has no orders. Next property. We don't have, let's see here. We must have taken those other ones off. All right. 2501 West Kilbourne, calls for service.
We have 1 trouble with subject, 1 theft, and 2 noise nuisances for a total of 4 nuisanceable calls.
And I apologize, I was writing some other notes. Can you repeat that for me, please?
Sure. We had 1 trouble with subject, 1 theft, and 2 noise nuisances.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
DNS has no orders on the property. Is Mr. Anderson with us today?
Can I have a
speak with him earlier today, and he said he wasn't going to be attending, but we have been in contact about his building a little bit here and there. So
was there any resolve to the squatters in the unit that he complained about last month?
So yeah, that's actually kind of what we talked about. He did say that the person has obtained some sort of legal aid, and they're kind of working with the legal aid to try and get them out sooner than an eviction would take. But if he can't get them out with that, he'll have to do an eviction, unfortunately. So he's going to work on doing that, he said.
I also have a question, Kent. D3 is we have Richard Lucas here that does security, and he had a question about apartment, was it apartment 8 and drug dealing in the area.
Okay.
Is that something that you guys talked about with Mr. Anderson? Because he did have a very lengthy complaint last month about people that he's feel jumping over the gate and kind of commandeering his apartment and selling drugs out of there.
Okay. He did not mention it, but I think, let me double check. I have in my notes here. I think number 8 was the person that he was trying to get out.
It is. Number 8 is the squatter.
What was that?
Number 8 is the squatter. You
Okay.
mentioned it last month.
Yeah, so number 8 would be the person that he is trying to evict, basically. So if it's coming from that apartment, then hopefully he can get him. Hopefully he can get him out here shortly. But if it's drug related, you can also let me know, and I'll have our drug car look into it. So number 8 is the one that's potentially dealing.
Yes,
Okay.
That is what I'm getting from Richard. Yes.
Okay. I'll pass that along and see if we can do a little bit more digging into it. I haven't seen any calls about drug dealing. So.
Okay.
So I'm really curious on the eviction side for this, which is going to get. If you don't know the legal name of the person that's squatting, and you have no oral or written agreement with him, how do you evict somebody that you don't know who it is? And I'm not sure if you can just put occupant on there.
So as far as I'm aware, I believe you can do like a John Doe eviction. And I don't think they have to wait for like the whole moratorium thing, because I think that is one that qualifies where you're able to evict right now. And that's kind of what me and Mr. Anderson were talking about. And it sounds like that's the route he's gonna go if the legal aid isn't gonna help the tenant get a different residence.
All right, thank you for the clarification.
Yep.
All right. Okay, next property. 2905 West Wisconsin Avenue, calls for service.
Sorry, I was looking for it. There was a battery and then 2 troublous subjects for a total of 3.
All right, DNS has interior orders. Right, next property. 2460 West Kilbourne, calls for service.
I have 0 nuisanceable calls for service.
And we have DNS that has no orders on the property. Mr. Steinborn, are you still there?
Yes, I am.
So just a little background on how the property made the list. There was some last month's meeting correlation between your property and the property kitty corner, which is the 2501 Kilbourne, with activity in this apartment number 8 that we're talking about, where we have apparently a squatter, a non-tenant that broke in and is living there, and as part of a possible drug activity between the sidewalk, your building, and 2501. So just to give you a background, I don't know if Bobby has any other details or CPU has any other details, which I don't think they do at this time, but that's how the property made the list this month.
So actually, I have Richard Lucas here, and he could describe what he's observed and witnessed.
On Monday and Tuesday, I went past the property. There was cars parked on the wrong side of the street, people in and out of that unit, the red brick building on the corner, 2460. It appeared to be drug activity, but I'm not for sure. But the cars were parked on the wrong side of the street, and there was multiple individuals on the porch.
Okay.
Are there multiple individuals as a commonplace on the porch there?
Well, if you consider people that's standing on your porch, all right.
There is a porch there, and they have signed the statements saying that only legal residents and their registered guests can be on that porch.
Okay.
Well,
so if the legal resident is not there with them, then you could take them and haul their butts out for trespassing.
I'm not the police. I'm neighborhood security. I'm just observing what I see out there.
That's all I can say is, and there's a notice to all posted above the exterior of the doors, so stating this. So all people can read that, and you can do whatever you want, because I have, it's.
Do you have a property manager there?
It's a 4-family. I'm the manager.
Well, I'm just saying the activity that's going on in front of that building that I've seen on Monday and Tuesday that I've witnessed. From now on, I'm going to take pictures. But what I'm saying,
I want you to take. I'm saying is that I would like for you to take pictures. I will cooperate so that I could physically see who these people you're talking about, and I can tell you if those are the residents or one of their guests, and I can act accordingly.
All right, Mr. Steinborn.
Mr. Steinborn, do you actively drive through or around this property or go to this property on any type of a consistent
Yes,
basis?
I do.
You?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I am
Daytime?
not an absentee landlord. I don't live, I do not have a management company running it. This is just me, myself, and I.
Right. Right. No, I'm just curious. Things seemed to be quiet for some time. The building was not on our radar. We've got history here, going back many, many years, and things have.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. My father, who is 96 years old, had insisted for him to be able to take care of the place, and he has finally come to a point where he's saying, I can't handle all this stuff anymore.
Sure.
And so that's how I've got, this is how I wound up getting. Of course, he's owned the building for many years, and this has been a family-run show here. So it's not that I'm new to what's going on over there.
Sure. We know
all I know is I do not know of any problems there.
Okay.
And that's why I'm saying, anybody's got pictures, show me pictures, and I'll be proactive. But I'm not going to accuse anybody of something, and I'm not going to empty a whole building up because of something unless I really know what's going on.
Yeah. No, nobody's asking you to empty the building. We want to make you aware of a situation that we think is drug activity, and that's our job to do so. And we let you know. We will try to do some things for you to get some pictures and such. Let me ask you a question. So you've got 4 units there, and are all 4 units occupied?
3 of the 4 units are occupied, and one of the 3 that are occupied is going to be going through an eviction on Tuesday through Aetna Movers for non-payment of rent.
Okay.
Mr. Steinberg, I have, this is Bobby McCoy. I have one quick question for you. How
Yes.
long have you directly been managing this particular property? When did you take it over from your father?
That's a hard question to ask, or a hard question to answer, I should say.
It's been some time. Let's say that.
Okay.
I'm 65 years old, and my dad's owned the building since I was born. Okay, so take it from there.
Mr. Steinborg, this is Barb. I am with the Near West Side Partners. Can you share a phone number or a way we can contact you as we notice issues?
Yes. And text, because I do not do emails very well. It's 414-379-7913.
And I also saw it go through the chat. All right. If nobody else has anything else for Mr. Steinborg, I want to thank you for joining us today, and hope you have a good rest of your day.
Goodbye.
Next property. 1143 North 29th Street. Calls for service.
We have 1 nuisanceable call, which was a noise nuisance at that address.
And DNS has 0 orders. Does that finish up our next property? That finishes it up?
Yeah, Ken, that's the nuisance properties. I think we're on to businesses now.
Before we go to businesses, can I ask if anybody here has any addresses that we need to look into for our next meeting?
This is Barb. I have 2. I'll share offline.
Thank you. Okay, so nuisance businesses. All right, this first one, Family Dollar, I'm gonna guess. 930 North 27th Street, called for service.
At 930 North 27, we had 0 nuisanceable calls for service.
DNS has interior and exterior orders and monthly inspections. Do we have anybody here today from Family Dollar?
Yes, I believe Danelle Gordon, Regional Director, is here, as well as myself, District Manager Harry Sussman.
How you doing today, Harry?
Good, sir.
Good, good. Any updates for us that you'd like to share with the group?
So I'm not sure if the new district manager that is now in place, Prentice Reeves, is on the call, but work orders have been submitted again and followed up on in regards to a few of the items for exterior. The graffiti has been removed. Lot cleanup continues to be a daily task at this location. So things are definitely in the works. We definitely, now that a lot of the snow has been melted, we've got some trash to clean up that was quite honestly frozen to the ground. So that's being cleaned up as we speak as well. And if anybody is looking or knows anybody that's looking for some good solid work, people that are honest and want an honest day's pay for work, we're definitely hiring.
Okay, can we see the next picture, please? All right,
One after this. And there's also another picture after this. Thanks, Harry, and your team for joining the Landlord Compact this month. And yeah, some of the things that we've been saying is just really an egregious trash situation. And I do understand that some of it was frozen to the ground. However, one of the things is that it's perennially trash in the lot. So, it was trash there before the snow came, it's trash there after the snow came. And we really appreciate, if you guys would continue to kind of monitor it and get the trash under control. We could offer you guys an additional can for trash if necessary.
Okay, yeah, we'll partner offline and we'll figure something out with that. That's great. Thanks, Bobby.
No problem, Harry. Thank you.
all right, can somebody get Tammy Buckhorse entered the waiting room in front of my screen?
Yeah, I think something going on because we let Tammy in a couple times. Tammy is Alderman Bauman's executive assistant.
Okay. Next, all right, thank you very much. Next slide. (927) North 27th Street, calls for service.
We have 0 nuisanceable calls for that location.
DNS has fire inspection order. Somebody here from Gare Bears? Has anybody had any recent conversations in regards to Gare Bears?
I haven't spoken with Gary in nearly 2 months. I'm just keeping an eye out in the area, the ambassadors and myself. It is really hard to determine if, as you guys can see on the picture, he has a few businesses. He owns the building. He has a few businesses in the lower units, and you never can tell whether they're patrons of the bar or people that live in the upstairs apartments because there's really no eave. You go right out of the property, right onto the city property or the sidewalks. So there's constantly a group of people around there. And when I say group, I mean between 2 to 4 people that's standing out there. Sometimes they're in front of the door. Sometimes they're in front of Gare Bear's door.
Okay, okay. All right. Okay, next property.
We have 0 nuisanceable calls for 2903 West Clybourne, sorry.
2903, thank you. And no orders for DNS. Next property.
Hold on, Kent.
Whoa.
Hold on,
Nope.
Kent. If we could, let's go back, guys. I got Richard Lucas here. He's made some observations that he'd like to discuss.
Friday and Monday, I went past that property. There was 20 guys standing outside the lot across the street. The top lot next to it is a little alley. There was like 10 guys out there shooting dice. And I watched hand-to-hand transactions and nobody from the store came out. That was Friday and Monday.
Why would somebody from the store come out for something that's going on in the alley and away from his building.
Maybe I didn't say it right, Ken.
Oh,
Across the
okay.
street, they were shooting, across the street, they were shooting dice, but
Yeah.
they were selling narcotics right at the front door.
Well,
And the street there was cars double parked, so I had to sit and wait 10 minutes to get from halfway up the block to turn down Clybourne because they were doing transactions right in the middle of the street.
sure.
And then walk back up next to the store.
Yeah, again, we've seen this issue before with the mobile gas station on 27th in Wisconsin when that was there, and it's a location that is just in the middle of an excuse to be there, and that's why they pop in and out of the store probably when the police come through. So obviously there has to be something that we have to come up with that is going to work besides the store owner looking out the window every 5 seconds and calling the police on something that he may or may not know what's going on. So I think we've got to come up with another plan.
I have a little input that I can add as well. I've got a pretty good working relationship with the store manager. He doesn't own the building, but he does own the store, at least the space for the store. And he has been cooperative with cameras. However, I'd like to know if the CLOs have had any complaints from residents that didn't go through like the 911 calls, because there's a lot of residents in the area that's really fed up with the excessive loitering that's maybe not directly inside the store, but around the area, as Mr. Lucas has described. I've witnessed that with my own eyes as well. So I'd just like to know, is there a time that the CLOs can go out, or have you guys heard of anything from residents around the area?
So I haven't gotten any complaints across our desk, like regarding anything very specific or anything like that.
Okay.
What we can do, or what I can do, is I can put in like an extra squad book patrol to have officers going through there more often. Which, about what time was it that all of those guys were out there dealing and standing and shooting dice?
It's around mid-evening, between 2 and 4 o'clock. And the major concern is that, of course, the loitering, we like to see that alleviated, but there is a tot lot that will be completed this summer. And if something is not kind of, if the rains are not brought in, I fear that it might be an incident over the summer.
Okay, yeah, I'll put an extra squad book patrol to have people go through there. We can go through there ourselves too and just observe for ourselves. I can also pass the information to our drug car and let them know what's going on and see if we could just maybe, I mean, you said he's cooperative. Is he calling this in
Well,
when it's happening?
he talks with the bike officers kind of frequently.
Okay.
He hasn't made as many calls as he should make. I've continued to urge him that he has to call, but I think, well, I'm not going to speculate whether he's afraid to make those calls or not, but he's clearly not making calls, and we've had a good relationship for over a year. He's not making the calls for service for the loitering, but he do have everything on camera. His camera angles have been checked. So anything that we're telling you, clearly he has the video of.
Okay. Yeah, I will. I'll look into it a little bit more and just see what we can do to try and maybe scare them out of that area from.
But thank you. I appreciate that. And if there's anything that we can do, I'd certainly love to be of assistance.
Okay, sounds good. We'll stay in touch.
Okay.
Bobby, can we make contact with the residents in the area by either flyer or face-to-face contact to get them to, I don't know what the right word might be here, to be more proactive in seeing things?
You know what, Kent, it's not a bad idea. I could definitely continue to reach out to residents. I haven't reached out directly to residents in about a year since last summer. So yes, I think that's appropriate for us to reach out and do again.
Okay, sounds good. Next property. 959 North 27th Street, calls for service.
We have 0 nuisanceable calls.
And no DNS orders. Anybody else have anything more about this?
No.
So is this a current picture that was just taken this week?
Yep, we took it Tuesday.
And they're still waiting for help on replacement of glass and all that kind of stuff?
From my understanding, yes. We don't know how far
All right.
it is with the help.
And
Real quick,
all right, and we don't know if there's been any
Well, if you look at the boards on the
applications put
window,
in for any type of a food license or anything of that nature.
if you look at the boards on the window at the top of where it says Black Lives Matter, it says RIP G. I mean, come on now. It's George Floyd.
Yep.
Well, that all needs to come down.
So just to let you guys know, we believe the funding came in for all the windows for 949 and for the salon across the street to be fixed. So we worked with MMAC on that. They covered all the price to get those windows replaced. So once the funding comes in, we've already alerted the window contractor to get in there and fix the windows. And this is at no cost to the businesses. So I do encourage Bobby and Dwayne and Savannah to work with DNS that if these businesses don't keep up with that, I mean, that was over $25,000 worth of work that we've done for all our businesses to get their windows repaired. So it's really on them just to make sure it's done. They don't have to even pay for it.
Okay. I know Mark's here, John's not. I'm not sure if Mark, this is probably a question for Andrea Solomon, right? As far as how long windows can be boarded up and such.
Yeah, I couldn't speak to that. I can try and call her if you like.
I'm sure this is on her radar. I know a couple meetings ago, she was out there. I'm just curious to know why, unless we're just waiting because there's something in the works to replace this, that if not at all, if something gets painted over to make it look like, and again, I'm not considering what's there by any means to be graffiti, but it more of a statement of advertising, and I'm not sure if that again is for the business, for the owner. I'm assuming somebody did this outside of that, and I'm not sure why the owner of the building nor the owner of the store has decided not to cover it up since they didn't do it. So I guess I'm just curious.
Excuse me, I'll take a quick peek at Acela right now and see what's on the books, because it'll be recorded there. You know what the status is.
Okay, sounds
and
good.
I'll respond in the chat. All right.
Thank you, Mark.
Sure.
Next property. 2336 West Wisconsin. Calls for service.
We have 0 nuisanceable calls. I don't know if Marquette has anything.
Yes, we have 1 trouble subject, 2 disorderlies, 2 loitering, battery, theft, and a trespass.
Officer Wickers, of those calls, did the owners of the store make the calls, or was these calls called in to you from someplace else?
Most of these, I think, if not all, are from the store.
Okay. We have encouraged them to make the calls. Quick update, we did have a septet. The CLO officers was there, some community residents, Kent, MUPD, MPD was all there, as along with the ADA. And we had did a septet of the property. Jose, which is the owner's son, he was very cooperative before, and he was very cooperative afterwards. We've been in communication. I've given him the regulations for food trucks, which was sent to us via Alderman Bauman's office from Tammy Brockhorst. And he seemed to really appreciate that. If you notice in the picture, you see a food truck there, and the food truck has clearly been in violation of some of the city regulations regarding where a food truck could be housed and for how long. So I would say this is a working relationship right now, and they have made some improvements. If you can go to the next slide, I think you will see that oh, no, okay, sorry. So yeah, he's had some work done in the parking lot in regards to the concrete barriers for parking. So it's a work in progress, but it's moving in the right direction.
That barrier right now, the one that was in question again today, was moved. I think like cars catch it with the plastic part of their bumpers or something, pull them back. So I
Excuse
moved
me,
it
Jose,
personally
Jose,
today.
Can you
Oh,
identify?
I'm Jose, Hussein's son for Quick Pantry owner. Yeah, we're gonna get the whole lot repainted, all the steel part, or I mean all the cement like barriers. Those are gonna get repainted. We're gonna get them, put them better into the ground, because I think just whatever that little rebar, whatever that comes out of the ground is gone from there. So that one side on that one just keeps catching, I think, on people's cars and keeps moving. So today I physically moved it today. We've been keeping up with the garbage now with the snow coming down. We cleaned out the city one that was on the street that they couldn't get to or whatever. We cleaned it. We are calling. We did catch a guy stealing with Marquette coming to our aid for that one. But yeah, we're calling and we're being diligent. And also, I had a walkthrough this week with our a new camera guy, because we're putting up new cameras, all digital. We're gonna try to get a way where we can like zoom into the area where people come into the lot, so that way we can get plates. So if we have any incidents or anything, we'll be better prepared to give the actual plate number to the police on what's going on and what the incidents are. It'll give us a lot better footage even inside the store as well as outside the store. So we're working on that right now. That's our next step, to upgrade all our camera system. Hopefully within a month that'll be done.
Well, thank you, Jose, for the updates, and we look forward to continue to working with you. And do remember to continue to communicate with your neighbors.
Tom, question for you. Have we been able to identify whether or not the gentleman who's selling CDs on the corner every day has a current seller's license at all?
I have not yet. I will take care of that for you, and I'll get with you, Kent, on that.
All right. Sounds good. One other, yes.
Need one more item for the quick pick people. If we can we get large commercial quality trash cans at that site? I don't know if you put them
We
there.
have them.
I haven't
We
seen
have
them.
them in the back. Are you talking about the outside in the front?
The outside and the front. There's with the bus stops, with just the activity. I mean, and we put trash cans there before, but we just don't have the capacity to do it now. Our trash cans are the red ones. We're actually going to move those. But with that being such a convenience store and a popular one, we really could use several, not just one, but several nice commercial quality. Now, I emphasize commercial, because the little plastic ones we get at Menards, that's just not really acceptable for the neighborhood. But getting some really decent ones that may cost a little bit, but they are definitely worth it moving forward. I think it helps you out with your business and the community out. But really, there's few places along Wisconsin Avenue with trash cans, and we need trash cans in that area. If we're going to have a grocery store or a convenience store, we need trash cans.
There's one green one from the city out in the front. I can put a bigger one right by the door, because that's a small. It's not that small, but we can get bigger and better with that one. And then when Bobby or someone comes, we'll talk and we'll figure out where we could put another one. That way it's closer to the street, as when people are leaving the lot, they can throw stuff away. You'll just be surprised. People think that the parking lot's a dumpster. They just will open their door and just throw all their junk right out of the car. Like, I'm dumbfounded by the amount of people that actually do that. I'm just in awe, and I look at them and I'm like, really, guys? Like, you couldn't throw it in the garbage? And they just laugh and they leave. Like, it's amazing.
Yep, every day. I saw something come through the screen in regards to some people being very loud and noisy. I wish the Matt and those guys were here, but I'm not sure. Tom, there's a gentleman that comes off of, I think, State Street, usually walks through the school, and he's usually found up and down Wisconsin Avenue, McDonald's. he likes to talk sports, but he's always mumbling and groaning. Do you remember who that? Or
That's Edgar.
is that his name is Edgar?
Edgar, yeah.
Little kind of short, scruffy,
Yeah.
big coat.
Kind of
Kinda
like stutters when he talks.
He
Yeah.
stutters when he talks,
Yeah,
he's
that's
always-
Edgar. He's
Okay.
been out there for years.
Yeah, he
Tom-
came by the day we did our septet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
that's
does a
Edgar.
lot of talking, but he's not really
He's
a
harmless.
nuisance like that. He'll come in, he buys a soda, juice, whatever.
Well, again, we're talking about, he's not gonna be breaking into cars and dealing drugs, but you know, we're talking about a couple guys like the CD guy who not necessarily yells and screams, but he's trying to wave people down to sell his stuff. And then you got Edgar screaming down the street, trying to beg for money to get, you know, it's just something that, again, is not very attractive for the neighborhood. And it actually is a nuisance. So I'm just wondering if we can somehow, Bobby, follow up with, if there's somebody who can help us with Edgar. I know that after our meeting with Marquette and
The homeless intervention team, is that
the
what you're
homeless
referring to?
intervention team, that is correct, would be one person I'd like to see, try to reach out to Edgar and see what's up with him.
Okay. I think that's something that we could make happen. If we could actually catch the time out that he's out there, maybe Jose, give me a call. We can see him on the premises and we could come out.
And his name's Edgar. I'll double verify that that's the same guy I'm talking about. And then if it is him, I will make sure when we see him, we'll give you a call.
Thank
All
you.
right. Sounds good. I want to keep moving on because we're
All right,
running
thank you.
next property. Thank you. 901 North 27th Street, calls for service.
We have 0 calls for service for that address.
DNS has no orders.
Quick update. The team and I spoke with Bobby Singh. I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday. He continues to try to pick up around the area. However, we addressed Bobby about the second building that he has, Mattress City, that's located right next to this Kilbourne Market, and he's going to put up additional gating to keep people out of the cubby space that leads into the facility. So Bobby is one of the owners that's very cooperative. However, it's just it's a load on that corner, but he's cooperative to things that we present to him. So it's a work in progress. But do make complaints if you guys have them. Take pictures if you see them, and please give them to me. Get them to us. One of the things that I can say, although Bobby has several cameras, he is in denial of people actually hanging around.
Okay. And we know that is happening.
Yes, but he
All
will vehemently deny it.
Okay. Next property. 949 North 27th Street, Boost Mobile, calls for service.
Next picture.
We have 0 nuisanceable calls for this address.
And no orders from DNS.
This is an example of a business that took advantage of the offer from their West Side partners to help them fix the windows. Okay, I am mistaken. The ambassadors are correcting me on that they did not. So they're saying go to the next picture.
Yeah, they fixed the windows.
So they fixed the windows, but they did not take the help of the Near West Side partners to do it. They did it on their own. So this is an example of communication that worked.
Okay. And this, again, I wish Andrea was here today. No knock on you, Mark. We love you. That I'm looking here and I know there is some rule as far as window coverings and signs and banners and such and things like that. There's a maximum sizes and whatever. So can we, looks like there's a lot of window coverings and advertisements on this location that might be in violation with the city code. So we should try to follow up with that with Andrea.
No problem. Can I put a call out to Adrian, see if we could at some point do a walkthrough through our bottleneck areas, especially since we are pursuing the camera initiative in this area.
That sounds good. I believe that's our last property. Is that correct?
Yes.
Before we get to anything more, I'm just wondering, I know, Bobby, you and I were talking about last week in regards to traffic pattern on 27th Street. Have we gotten any update at all in regards to that?
I have not received an update as of yet. The CNI is kind of in a transition, and I haven't reached out to anyone from the city as of now. But I do think that it's a conversation that I might can have with Tammy.
Okay. All right. Hopefully we don't have a lot of bureaucracy with being a state highway, that the city can actually make those decisions without getting state approval on either no left turns or trying to create a left turn lane or something to help traffic flow a little better now that we've eliminated a lane. Okay, Bobby, take it from here, Abdeen.
Yes. Okay, guys. So we know that we are over time, but what we have here is a community cleanup that's coming up April 17th, and we urging that everyone get involved. As you know, the snow is melting. Our city is in peril, and I think it would be a great idea for everyone to lend a hand to help clean up an area. So if you one of the type of people that don't want to clean up any area, like to clean up around your neighborhood or immediately around your house or maybe a block or two radius, please give us a call. Let's sign up. Let's make some groups where we can create sectors where we can get out and make our neighborhood look a lot better. There we will have cans where trash could be picked up and delivered to, so you wouldn't have to carry a big bag and walk around with a lot of trash. We provide all the safety equipments. We would also operate social distancing, so this will be a nice, safe event. It's April 17th, which is a Saturday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. We urge people to register, and we would also send this flyer out to everyone that registered for the Landlord Compact today. We look forward to hearing from you guys.
Thank you, Bobby. And with that, is that complete our agenda?
Yes, again, we will always end with the resident survey. I think we are still taking the resident surveys, correct, Barb?
I believe so.
Yes. So we do urge, the way that we figure out what's going on in our community, be it good or be it bad, is through what the people that actually live on the blocks and live in apartment buildings say. So please consider to make sure that your tenants, residents have the ability to fill out the resident survey. And also as a property owner, manager, or stakeholder, please fill out the survey so that we know what you guys think and we can help better tailor our programs to help fit the resident needs and the community needs.
Okay, great. And with that, our next meeting is April 8th. Thank you again, everyone, for joining us, and hope you have a good rest of your day and have a great weekend.
Thank you guys as well. You have a great day.
Thank you.